If Russia decides to attack a NATO country, its military facilities in Kaliningrad and Sevastopol will be destroyed within hours. This was stated by General Ben Hodges, former commander of US Army Europe, in an interview with the Vot Tak project. He noted that a clash between Russia and NATO would not be similar to the war in Ukraine. If Russia had attacked Poland in 2025 the same way it attacked Ukraine, it would have been destroyed by NATO air forces and alliance ground forces. One can be certain, Kaliningrad would have been destroyed within the first hours. In the first hours, Kaliningrad is gone. All Russian facilities have been destroyed. Any Russian military facilities in Sevastopol have been destroyed as well. Therefore, direct comparisons are inappropriate here, Hodges stated. He also noted that in 2014, when the war began, Europe, the United States and Canada generally supported Ukraine, but many countries were still too dependent on Russia for oil and gas supplies. People said, "Don't be dramatic. Russia is an important country. It has nuclear weapons." And back in 2014, we failed to make it clear that Russian aggression would not go unpunished. Even the Minsk agreements turned out to be a farce. No sanctions changed Russia's behavior. It had no respect for these measures, Hodges noted. He also emphasized that if NATO countries had been better prepared and had immediately, after the start of a full-scale invasion, clearly warned Russia that they would give Ukraine everything it needed to restore its sovereignty, if that had been our clear goal, the situation would have been completely different, and Ukraine would have found itself in a different position. Instead, we wasted years of conversations like, what if Russia uses nuclear weapons? Maybe we should negotiate? We could negotiate Russia's withdrawal from Ukrainian territory, Hodges emphasized. Earlier, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte emphasized that a potential war between the Russian Federation and NATO would be different from the war currently underway between Russia and Ukraine. We hope this will never happen. But if Russia is foolish enough to attack us, it will be an open war between Russia and NATO, Rutte said. According to him, a possible war between the Russian Federation and NATO would be different from the war currently going on between Russia and Ukraine. It will be different from the war between Russia and Ukraine for many reasons that I can't explain in detail now, because we don't want to give them an information advantage. But this war will be different, he noted. According to ISW analysts, Russia has launched Phase 0 in its preparations for war with NATO. They noted that the discovery of so-called little green men on the Estonian border indicates the formation of an information and psychological platform for a possible future military conflict.
SpaceX launched another of its mammoth Starship rockets on a test flight Monday, successfully making it halfway around the world while releasing mock satellites like last time. According to Associated Press, Starship, the biggest and most powerful rocket ever built, thundered into the evening sky from the southern tip of Texas. The booster peeled away and made a controlled entry into the Gulf of Mexico as planned, with the spacecraft skimming space before descending into the Indian Ocean. Nothing was recovered. "Hey, welcome back to Earth, Starship," SpaceX's Dan Hewitt announced as employees cheered. What a day! It was the 11th test flight for a full-scale Starship, which SpaceX founder and CEO Elon Musk intends to use to send people to Mars. NASA's need is more immediate. The space agency cannot land astronauts on the Moon by decade's end without the 403-foot Starship, the reusable vehicle meant to get them from lunar orbit down to the surface and back up. Instead of remaining inside launch control as usual. Musk said that for the first time he was going outside to watch, much more visceral. The previous test flight in August, a success after a string of explosive failures, followed a similar path with similar goals. More maneuvering was built in this time, especially for the spacecraft. SpaceX conducted a series of tests during the spacecraft's entry over the Indian Ocean as practice for future landings back at the launch site. Like before, Starship carried up 8 mock satellites mimicking SpaceX's Starlinks. The entire flight lasted just over an hour, originating from Starbase near the Mexican border. NASA's acting administrator Sean Duffy praised Starship's progress. "Another major step toward landing Americans on the Moon's South Pole," he said via X. SpaceX is modifying its Cape Canaveral launch sites to accommodate Starships, in addition to the much smaller Falcon rockets used to transport astronauts and supplies to the International Space Station for NASA.
So at this point, we've passed through that period of maximum aerodynamic pressure. Stage separation. Startup. All right, successful hot staging maneuver. So we've got 12 of the 13 engines lit back up on booster, so it's doing its boost back. Real excitingly though, we've got 6 out of 6 Raptors lit on ship there, so it's now going to continue to make its ascent into outer space.
Booster is going to see like
And there we heard it. Booster landing burn shut down. We saw a 13 to 5 to 3 V3 demonstration, and into the water we go.
All right, all ship Raptors have shut down.
Orbit insertion.